wanna dance with the stars and lights. I wanna sail on an ocean wide. I wanna feel the sand between my toes.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kathy. Today I am so excited to be sharing with you a gift that I made for my best friend. It was recently her birthday, so I wanted to do something special for her, and this is the project that I came up with. This is a Kaisercraft desk organizer, and I'm going to be showing you in detail like what I did for each step in order to assemble this box. When you get it, you actually get just all the MDF pieces like separately, and then you have to prepare them all. So in the rest of the video, I'm going to show you each step and what I did to prepare each of the pieces. I just wanted to mention that in some of the clips you're going to see this paper pack is called Mermaid Tails. It's by Kaisercraft. I also have some paper called Fairy Dust from Kaisercraft. So some of the clips which I used, I do the same thing in order to prepare that desk organizer. You're going to actually see the fairy dust paper, but it's the Mermaid Tails, this project, that I wanted to show you, and I'm going to show you in detail at the end. So I just didn't want to cause any confusion, but I will be showing you what I did for each step, and then I will show you this specific desk organizer, the Mermaid Tails, at the end in much more detail, and I'll go through everything that I did in order to prepare this box for her. So thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, and I hope that you keep watching. Okay, so for this project I decided to make the large desk organizer by Kaisercraft, and what I found is I actually did a YouTube search on this organizer, and I found a couple videos on it, and then I actually found some other videos on just Kaisercraft, like other projects in general, and I did pick up some ideas from there. So what I'm going to do is kind of bring all the ideas together that I learned from watching those videos, and then go through and apply some of the things and teach you sort of what I learned watching all those videos. When you get these Kaisercraft organizers or any of their Kaisercraft projects, they don't come with any instructions on how to assemble it. They're kind of intuitive, so you will probably be able to kind of work your way through and figure out how to assemble it together, but I'm going to go through and show you what I did. So this is the large desk organizer, so that's what it looks like just with the paper on it, and I'm going to go through steps by step what I did to make my project in particular. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably the hardest part of doing this whole project. So basically I've just put it together, but it's all just loose in here, like it's not actually attached or anything. And the reason why you want to assemble it, just get it together, there's this piece, it's going to be going in the front here, in the front. The reason why you want to put it together is because at this stage you basically want to label all the sides. Like you want to say that this is the left side on the outside and then the inside, and the reason for that is you're going to be, when you put your paper on, you need to know which side is the inside, because you'll be cutting holes in the paper in order to let the slats go through. So I'll kind of explain that better when I get to that stage, but basically you need to assemble it and then just use a pencil and label all of the sides what they are, and then you can get ready for the next stage. Okay, so for the paper pack, that's the next step that I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be using the paper pack that I chose and cut out all the paper for all the pieces that I want to put on the desk organizer before I assemble it. So I have to basically trace out all of the pieces where I want all the pieces to go. So I picked Kaisercraft's Mermaid Tails. I cannot wait to do this project and finish it, because I have so many ideas of how I want to embellish the outside of the desk organizer, and so I just thought this paper would be perfect for my friend who actually loves mermaids, so I can't wait to get started. So for the I'm just going to give you an example. So for the right outside, so this is the outside of the desk organizer, so it's the panel that goes on the right. For the outside, I wanted to use this paper in particular. So what I'm going to be doing is just lining it up so that I can make sure that the image in particular, like up in this corner, is going to fit on to the piece. So I have to just line it up. I just held it up against the window because then you can see the shape behind it, behind the paper, and I know where to line it up exactly so that I can then trace out the shape, and then I will have it ready to assemble. So that's the next step, is I'm going to cut all my papers and have those ready to go. For the next step, all you want to do is, I wanted to paint all of these sides that you're going to be able to see. There, I actually have cut the paper so that it fits onto these pieces almost right to the edge, but I wanted to just paint the sides. So before I can put on paint, I put on gesso, and basically this is used so that it'll receive paint. I wanted the color, the paint that I pick, I want it to be really opaque, so I wanted this to be white instead of brown because I didn't want it to interrupt the color of the paint that I choose. So for all of the pieces, I have painted basically all of the outside and then a little bit onto the inside as well. And then when I put the paper down, this is actually going to be the paper for the back. When I put the paper down, it's going to be quite flush, but there might be like a little parts showing. But now I'm going to go ahead and pick one of the colors from the paper, and I'm going to actually use that paint. I got some Martha Stewart kind of shimmer pearl paint, I think it's called. So I'll show you that, and I'm going to go ahead and now paint all of the edges in the color of paint that I pick. Okay, so I've gone ahead and painted all of my pieces of wood. So I basically chose to use this Martha Stewart pearl paint, and it's in the color Aquarium, and it's got, I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick it up, but it's got quite a shimmery kind of look to it. So it's a little bit more transparent than I would have liked, but if you wanted it to be more opaque, you'd have to probably double coat the edges with gesso and then put it on. But I was okay with it once I put it down. So now I'm going to show you the next step, and that is to put your paper down. So I'm going to be using Mod Podge. I got the matte Mod Podge, and so I'm going to be and I labeled all of my pieces of wood so I know which pattern paper I wanted on this one. So this is the one of the rows, and it's the second row, so this is the top of it, so I knew which color of the paper that I wanted for that. So I'm just going to go edge to edge, and you really want to get the edges for sure, because that's where you don't want your paper to peel up on the edges. So you want to try and get like an even coat and not too thick, but just make sure you go right to the edges. And I'm just using one of these foam brushes. You can use like an actual paint brush. I didn't have one that was wide enough that I wanted, so I decided to use the foam brush. So and like I said, I'm just making sure that I get it right to the edge. And you always need to have like a cloth handy because when you're painting, I find, or using glue in general, you want to have like a cloth that's handy. So I just have like a flower cloth off to the side here if I need it. Okay. So you have a little bit of time to work with Mod Podge, but you don't want to kind of linger too long. So I'm going to put the paper down. And like I said before, when I cut the paper, I wanted it to go almost to the edges. So I'm just gonna, you have a little bit of time to move it around. So that's actually where I want it. And then I just use like a brayer, and I'm gonna be using this to really get it down onto the wood and get out any like kind of air pockets if there's any in there. And I'm not too worried about getting not like Mod Podge on the top, because I'm actually going to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to Mod Podge the whole outside, because I find when you're doing projects like this, you have to be careful, because anytime that somebody's displaying it, especially if it's near a window or in the sun, it is going to fade. The paper's just going to fade. That's just what the paper does. So I want to kind of preserve it. So I'm going to be putting Mod Podge around the whole outside. So that's the one side done, and now I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. Okay, and I would say that if you get any little pieces here where you get like glue on the edge, I would wipe that off, because when you put this down you want it to be flat. You don't want it to have any kind of ridge on it. So I'm just going to make sure that there's no kind of glue that's going to then dry into a ridge on there. Okay, so the tip that I wanted to give you is this is actually the very bottom piece of the desk organizer. So this is the top. I labeled it as the bottom, but this is the top, and then this is the bottom. So this is where it's gonna stand. So when you have a piece where you have the slats in it, you have to put the inside paper on first. So in this case, I'm going to be putting this piece of paper down, and you want to do that because then when it's glued down, you then have to cut out all of the slats so that when you assemble it, those are open for the pieces to go in. So on the bottom, you want it to be flush, like you want the piece of paper to be flush, like, and cover up all of this. But for the inside pieces, you need it to be, you need to actually cut holes where all of the kind of slats are. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this one down first, and then, and this is kind of the back of it, so I want the paper to kind of, actually I like it better this way. So I'm going to put the paper on this way, and technically I probably should have picked a piece of paper that went right to the edge, but I'm okay with it because when you put it together, you're actually not going to see a lot of this. So I just put it on the inside, but I am going to have to cut through these three kind of holes on this side once I get it down. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put paper on all of the pieces, and then I'm going to probably put hodgepodge on the outside of all of the pieces, like over top of the paper, and get all that dry, and then I'll come back and show you how I assemble it. Okay, you guys, so I'm just going to show you where I'm at this stage. So basically I painted all of the pieces in the gesso, and then I painted like the edges in the shimmer paint, and then I put on the papers that I picked for each of the pieces, and I Mod Podged them. I Mod Podged them down, and then I put Mod Podge on the outside. So for this paper pack, it had several what you call like zip strips on them. So I cut them all off, and then I decided where to use them on the paper that I put down. So I used one on each of the levels here, and then on the front, and then this is actually an example of the zip strip that's right on the paper. So in this case I didn't have to cut it off because I was going to put it there anyway, so I just left it on, and then I glued the whole thing together. So I'm just going to show you the sides. So this is all before I'm going to decorate it. This is just it kind of assembled. I decided to put one on the back. I don't know, I haven't decided if I'm going to decorate the back of this or not. I'll leave that till the end, but I might. I don't know. We'll see. And then this is the side, and then I did all the drawers. So for the drawers, I essentially did the exact same thing. I used the gesso, and I just painted around all the edges, and then I painted kind of the seams with, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that. It's like it's kind of like a lilac kind of metallic paint. And then on the outside of the box, I did the paper, and I Mod Podged the paper down, and then I put Mod Podge on the outside. And then for the bottoms, I just decided to leave them painted. I didn't put any paper on the bottom. And then I also did the inside. So for the insides, I also used like the Mod Podge and put the paper down, and then put it on the outside so that it's all kind of sealed. And I wanted to do that, first of all, because I'm not sure what my friend's going to put in here, but I wanted to sort of have protected because it's paper, so I'm not sure what she's going to store in it, but I thought this way there's kind of like a little bit of a seal on it, and I also wanted it to prevent it from fading in the sun. So now I'm going to go on to the really fun part, which is actually decorating this thing. So I will come back and show you my finished project, and I'll kind of go through some of the things that I decided to do to decorate it, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, you guys, so this is the finished project that I did. So I'm just going to show you the front and go through some of the details of what I did on the front, and then I'll turn it around and kind of go over the whole thing. So for all of these drawers, I actually Mod Podged the paper on, and then this one actually had a zip strip on the bottom, so it actually it's like actually attached to the paper, but you can cut them off and then put them wherever you want, but in this case I wanted to just leave it on the drawer there. And then I also took some pearls and then just put them around the opening for the drawers, and same for all of the little drawers. I just wanted to put a little bit of pearls on there. And then for the other pieces, like this piece here, I put the dolphins down and I Mod Podged them down, but then I used one of the zip strips from one of the other papers and put it there. And then same with these, this one, I put the paper down and then put one of the zip strips there, and then basically for all of the different levels, that's what I did. So you can see down into the box that I just put the paper right down all the way to the bottom. And then I had this trim that I wanted to put on. So I got this such a long time ago from a place called Frantic Stamper, and I just got this trim, so I just glued it down, and then I put some of these little sparkle kind of embellishments that I have from Close to My Heart. And then what I wanted to do for all of the pattern paper is I wanted to actually use stickles and just kind of showcase some of the images on the paper, and I did that on the whole box. So I did it on the drawers, I also did it on the pattern paper there, and these embellishments came with, well, you could buy the coordinating embellishments with the Mermaid Tails paper, but what I did is they were sort of like thin chipboard pieces, I would say, so I wanted them to be sturdier. So what I did is I actually Mod Podged them onto chipboard, and then I cut them out so that it was actually really sturdy, and then in this case I also added the stickles on there. So throughout the whole project I wanted to put on shells. So some of these shells I've actually collected myself when I've been in Hawaii in the past, and then I used some of these pearls, and then these are actually from a necklace or no, these are from a headband. So I bought these two headbands. One of them was the pearls, and basically it was in the jewelry section at Michael's, and it was like a headband where it had 3 strings of pearls that were braided, and then you use it as a headband. And then the same with these kind of beads as well. So they were like strands of these beads, and there was 3 strands, and then they braided them, and then you could use them as a headband. So I just took them apart and then I put them on this whole box. So I basically put the string of pearls like all around the whole outside of the box, and then for these little guys I just put them throughout, just as little clusters throughout the project. So for the drawers I also Mod Podged the inside with the paper. So I just wanted it to be just really sturdy. I don't know what my friend is going to put in this box, so I just want it to be sealed, I guess. So, and then I have like a little personal kind of stamp that I use on some of my projects, so I put that inside the box here. And yeah, so that's the inside of that box. And then for the drawers, some of the coordinating paper was this fish paper, and then I used that girl on one of the images on one of the papers. I just cut it down like right in that area and then put it inside the drawers. But then these ones just have kind of more monochromatic kind of paper on the bottom. So, and then this is another one of those coordinating embellishments. So again, I just Mod Podged it. I put it on chipboard, and then I decided to put some of the little pearls around the outside, and then I also put some stickles around the very edge. So that is the front. So then when you turn it to the side, there was actually 2 pieces of paper that had the images of the mermaids on it. So I wanted to put that on either one of the sides of the box. So this is the paper here, and then I added some of the stickles and put it on her tail and on her suit there. And then I just basically, these are coordinating chipboard pieces that came with, that you could coordinate with the Mermaid Tails. Some more shells that I had. Some of these shells, the bigger ones, like these ones, I actually bought from Michael's, and I got this idea for a cluster. I just turned the shell over and then I put in a cluster of beads, and then I put those micro beads in there as well, and I just used liquid glass to kind of glue those in. And then I brought in some of these little pearls. This is just something again from the jewelry section that I had bought from Michael's, and it actually had like a little loop on it so that you could create jewelry with it, but I just wanted to put it on because I like how it coordinated with the colors. And then for these shells, I actually put gesso on the outside so that it would receive paint, and then I used some of my glimmer mists to kind of paint the outside of that shell so I could coordinate the colors. Same with this one, I did the same thing. I painted it with clear gesso, and then I used a little bit of my paints to kind of paint on there. So that is the side. This kind of cheesecloth I actually found on Etsy. There was a woman who had the cheesecloth exactly like this with the blue and the green on it, and I thought it coordinated so well. And what I did is I just took some of my glimmer mist and I sprayed it with purple, like here and there, so I could tie in kind of the purple color. And so I was able to put that on the sides. For the back, I wanted to use it, like keep it fairly plain, because I'm not sure where she's going to put it. She might put it against a wall or something. So, but I did want to do a few little fun things on it. So I basically, again, used the stickle to, you know, showcase some of the images on there. This is actually one of the little chipboard pieces I just put on the back. I don't know if you can make that out. It says happy. And then for this little quote, I found it on, I just Googled mermaid quotes and I found that, and so I just printed it on cardstock, and then I cut it out with one of my punches, and then I used some of the glitter paper from Close to My Heart. This one's called Seaside or Seafoam, I can't remember. Anyways, so I like that one, and then I used a little bit of my, this is glimmer trim with Close to My Heart. Is just a white one, and this is again another one of those zip strips that comes with the paper. So that is the back of the box, the desk organizer, and then this is the last side that I did. So again, it was one of the papers that had this image down in the corner, and then I just did all of the embellishments going up the side. These pieces here were actually wood pieces that I painted with white gesso so that I could paint them. So I wanted the turtle to be green, and then this is again those cluster of those beads that I got from the headband, some more of the micro beads, some of the shells that I had. This is another shell that I used clear gesso on, and then I painted just to bring in some of the colors. This is another one of the chipboard pieces, and I put the beads around the outside, and again I Mod Podged it so that it just added some like made it more stable. And then this is another one of the cluster kind of shells that I did, and then these are shells. These ones are the bigger shells that I got from Michael's. Any of the small little shells are the ones that I had, that I collected myself in Hawaii. And then these are just embellishments that I've had for so long, and they're just like these glass, well, I think they're more like, they're not actual glass, but they look like glass, and they just have like, they're embossed, so with a bit of an like a shape on it. So I just like them. I just thought that they kind of coordinated well with the box. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I just wanted to insert this little clip quickly. I forgot that I wanted to show you the coordinating card that I also made for my best friend and her birthday. So I basically again wanted to use the mermaid theme. So I got this, this is actually a digital stamp that I got, and I want to say I got it off of Etsy, but I'll try and figure it out, and maybe I'll leave it in the description box below. But I basically also tied in some of that cheesecloth here and some of those, you know, embellishments that I have. These are like little shells, the micro beads, another shell. I did put some of the same paper down, and I used the stickles to kind of further enhance the pattern on the paper, or the images on the paper. And for this kind of charm, I actually got that from Michael's in the jewelry section, and it I'll show you a similar one. It basically is like this one. It's like the bead landing beads. This one is a different one. It's got like a moon and an arrow and a feather on it. I'm actually going to use that for something else, but so it just looked exactly like that, and so I just wanted to put that on the card as well. And so it just has like a little beachy theme, like with the palm tree and the glasses and the little flip-flop there. So I just actually left, it came on like a bit of a clear kind of fish twine, so I just left it, and then I kind of tied it around. This is actually that bead, though, that bead kind of strand that I took out of the headband, and I just left it on the strand, and then I just wanted to use it kind of on the card there. This is another stamp that I have, and then this is one of my easel cards, so it stands up like that, and these are some of the coordinating chipboard pieces, and like when you open up the card, it's got the paper on there, and I just use some of the, you know, the stickles on there. This is some glimmer or sort of glitter paper that I have from Close to My Heart, and yeah, it basically stands up like an easel card. I make easel cards like almost all the time. It's kind of my go-to card, style of card that I make. So I will leave a link in the description box below on how to make these easel cards. They're super easy, and I have a full tutorial on how you actually make this card. So yeah, and now I'll just finish off the video with how I finished it off. So that is the completed project. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you get the opportunity to make one of these yourself. It was so fun to make. Took me quite a long time, but I just loved every minute of it. I loved doing all the work on it. It was so fun. So until next time, happy crafting, and thanks for watching.
I wanna dance.